Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. If you remember a couple videos back, I made this tray. Now I fell head over heels in love with this tray. One of the best trays I think I've ever made, and I couldn't stop there. I really wanted to go again using different colors, different inlays, and a much bigger scale. So I've decided to have another play and see what results we can get. This is the mold I'm using. It is the round tray mold with a lip around the edge. This is from Moulds and Shapes, and I'm measuring it here, and it's coming out at approximately 22-ish centimeters. So it's a nice size, but I was most excited by the gorgeous lip around the edge as well. Now, again, this is Moulds and Shapes, so I'm not an affiliate. I don't earn money if you buy their molds, but there is a 10% discount code down below for you in the description box. We're doing a few things the same because I did love the results of that, and we are going to use this crushed mirror glass. I got this from my nearest garden centre back in Essex where I lived, but I think they're quite common in garden centres. They're like vase decorations. I'm using similar inlays, but instead of the palm reading hand, I'm actually going to be using this giant moth. Now, if you've been with me a year, you'll know that last Halloween I made a ton of inlays using the Finna Bear molds, and they came out unreal. I just thought instead of the hand is a bit small for the size of the tray. I'll use the moth instead. Also, I was thinking of going down the cogs and keys route. If you watched the last video, I did mention you could steampunk it up a bit, but honestly, when it came down to it, I just decided not to go down that route and just save that for a steampunk season. I am using the same foils again. These are from Amazon. They are, I think they're called Witchy foils. If I find the link, I'll link it below. Now, this was the druzy mat. I had a couple of DMs in my inbox. This is a giant druzy mat from Moulds and Shapes. You can cut your own, use your Cricut, or just cut with scissors. I was tempted to use that. We would get this crackled glass effect. It's absolutely stunning. And also cling film technique. These were two options, and they really just depended on how much room we have left in the tray. So I'm using the Apex resin from Just For You Online. I've put my gloves on, I've got my respirator, and these are the filters on the side that come off. Make sure you change your filters every 6 months, or as soon as you start smelling things. You definitely don't want to smell things. So I've mixed my resin up. Whilst we're using the same materials, I'm doing things a little bit differently. So with the crushed glass, in the last video, I put the crushed glass down first and I poured the resin on top. This time around, I'm pouring the resin first and I will pour the crushed glass down on top. Now, I already know I'm going to give this mold a completely thin layer of clear. So at this point, I'm not worried about being neat here at all whatsoever. The crushed mirror glass is heavy, really heavy. So I'm not concerned that the resin has come up and over and into the mold. That crushed glass is going to find its way down into the lip, so no concerns there whatsoever. I'm just transferring some of the crushed glass, and I'm simply going to shake it around the edge of the mold. It will make its way down into the cavity that is the lip of the tray. I'm putting a lot more in on this one. If you watched the last video, that was one of my things. I was like, I wish I put more. So I'm putting a whole heap of crushed glass. Now, it does look messy at this point, and that's perfectly okay. It's going to take a minute for each individual piece of glass to seep into the resin and find its way down into that cavity. But I am using a lollipop stick to help it along. I'm just going around the whole edge, kind of pushing it down, but not too much. It's sharp. I don't want to scratch the mold, and just gently kind of encouraging that glass to the edges and in and down around that lip. Now, there will be a couple of rogue pieces of the crushed mirror glass that don't want to go down because they've run out of room, and that's absolutely fine. I think it's going to add to the overall wowness, hopefully, when the tray is finished. I sped this section up because this took a long time, and you don't want to sit through this in real time. I then poured the rest of my resin in, creating a nice thin clear layer of resin, and just just pieces that had made their way too far in. I then pulled them back before hitting the whole tray with my heat gun to make this resin as crystal clear as possible. The resin is already pretty clear. It's really, really great resin. And because I'm in my brand new craft room, when I go up there in the mornings, it's very, very cold. So at the moment, I'm very much in the habit of giving my resin a hot bath before I use it. And that not only gets rid of even more bubbles, but it helps it cure faster, which is really, really handy dandy. Now, back to the actual inlay. The moth inlay, I thought initially it would look so good right in the center of the mold. But once I'd laid down all of the extra inlays that I wanted to reuse the stars, reuse the moon, it just felt like I needed more. There's too much space here. I need to fill the space. So I decided to shimmy the large moth up and then place a smaller moth at angles. So it's not like really uniformed. It's just a bit random, and just place the smaller moth that I made last year down underneath, and then just spread the stars out a little bit. I was a lot more happy with this equal, kind of like evenly spaced out item. I did look through all of the inlays I made last year, and there was no real inlays that were gonna work for me. I just wanted to stick to the moons and the stars. But yeah, covered it over, and 24 hours later it is time to peel back again. Oh, I just love this part. It's just the best when you peel back and you see the stunning results in the resin underneath. They really are beautiful. But yeah, peeling back, you guys know, if you've done your inlays before, if you've done inlays, it really is such a rewarding, it's such a rewarding moment, because it's like, look at this. Even on its own, if I demolded this right now, trust me, it would be beautiful on its own with nothing else added. But of course, we're not going to stop there. Now, I am using the same chameleon powder that I used in the last video for the inlays, purely because I loved it. And it's actually really hard with chameleon powders on camera. Like, you can see me shaking the camera around here. From some angles, of course, these are color shifting powders. They've got multiple colors in some of them. So for you to really see what I'm seeing, I need the camera to be right down at an angle coming in from the side. And then you'll see this stunning purple. It goes into this deep burgundy red. And then when you come up from above, it practically looks blue and like almost lavender. Now, at this point, I am fully out of the black polyurethane fast cure, so I am going back to an epoxy resin at this stage, and they both do an amazing job. It just means the epoxy resin is going to take hours and hours to cure, as opposed to the polyurethane, which is like a 20-minute, and then you can move on. I have ordered some more black polyurethane from Denise over at I Love Mixed Media here in the UK, and that arrived yesterday. So I'm happy again. I don't know why, but when I've got polyurethane on hand, everything feels right with the world. Anyway, this is me filling up very, very carefully with the epoxy resin and the black pigment. Now, the black pigment is the Vista liquid pigment. Stunning pigments. Vista have got some of the most beautiful liquid pigments that just blend into the resin so beautifully, and their black is my absolute #1 go-to. Along with their white pigment, I mean, they've got a whole range of liquid pigments I fully recommend. I'm not affiliated with Vista, we don't work together anymore, but I would 100% recommend their liquid pigments. Head on over to Vista to check them out. Next up, it is time to fully clean this. So this is 24 hours later. All of the black resin has fully cured, and I'm spraying the entire piece with some isopropyl alcohol and wiping off all of that excess mica powder that we do not want, or chameleon powder that we do not want on there for the next step. And it was at this point I really, again, felt that there wasn't lots of room left. I don't have a whole heap of room to play with again. So in the last video, you would have seen me lay down a clear layer of resin at this point and simply place my foils into that clear resin. These are stickers, but I didn't use them as stickers. I just placed them in, and the results were phenomenal. With this tray, however, I didn't have enough room to play with. If I put a clear layer down now, that's it. The mold is full. So I took the decision to stick them down, use them as stickers. And I was nervous and dubious about this because, of course, this surface at this moment is not even. It's definitely uneven. Where the inlays were, we've got those lips, those sharp edges. The black resin has sunk down, so we've got dips, we've got troughs, peaks and valleys. It's not a flat surface. Now, in an ideal world, you'd really want to stick these to a super flat layer of resin, or just lay them in. Don't use them as stickers. Don't even peel them. Just lay them straight in as they are to a clear layer of resin. So yeah, I was nervous doing this, but I thought, you know what? Let's have a go, have a play, see what it looks like. The worst that could happen is we've got lumps and bumps, but it's still pretty, because either way it's going to be pretty because there's such beautiful elements to this tray. I just wasn't loving the uneven surfaces. So yes, I was nervous, but I didn't feel like I had a choice at this point. I didn't want to create a false bottom like I did a couple videos back. I used masking tape to give me a false bottom, but you can see here I've barely got any room left in this mold to do a nice flat clear layer of resin before I do the background. But this is what we're looking like. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. There are areas that got crunched up, creased over, and some areas that simply just were not laying flat at all. I used my craft blade where possible to try and get them flat, so I cut them up and kind of tried to stick them down. I'm going straight in with the background. So I'm using a combination of garden and ether from these stunning chameleon powders. These chameleon powders, I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning, did I? They are from the Tiny Turner via Wendy over at Toonpish Crafts. I'm going to link Wendy's details down below. She's a fantastic friend of mine and a YouTuber here. Wendy is a distributor for these chameleon powders. If they are not in your budget, then I would recommend chameleon powders from Let's Resin. They are equally intense and stunning. Lots of different colours though, very different to the Tiny Turner colours, and some are very, very similar. But yeah, this is what we're looking like. From above, you see green and almost tealy turquoise. And then from down here, you can really see the purples, the deep, intense indigo coming through. So a super stunning color shifting powder. And again, you can get these from Wendy at Toonpish Crafts. And I'll leave her details down below. But again, I'm not affiliated. I don't earn any money if you guys decide to go ahead and get these. But Wendy does send them to me to play around with and show you guys. Now, we are ready for the back coat, but I was nervous here because after putting the powder down, I was seeing these gaping holes that I just didn't really clock before. And I can't stick them down now because there's powder under them. So I wasn't sure what the results were going to be, what the end result would be. And my biggest fear was that you're really gonna see the lumps and the bumps, and it's just not going to be pretty. It's not going to give me the same ooh feeling that I got from that original tray. Equally, I didn't want to put that out into the universe and manifest bad vibes and think to myself immediately, I'm not going to like it. I knew I'd like it, but I was just worried. I was worried about the unevenness of all of those stunning foil stickers. So I just filled it up. I filled it up as best I could using the black. This was going to make all of those chameleon powders underneath pop through the other side. And this is me just trying to push down stickers that are starting to kind of like peel up. But here we are, 24 hours later. Let me know your thoughts. For me, it was an immediate wow, but. There was a but. I think the colours work stunningly together. That crushed glass edge is a wow for me. Without a doubt, I made the right decision by putting a ton more crushed glass in there. It really gives that stunning reflective impact. But can you see all the gaping weird cavities? Like, these are areas where the stickers didn't lay flat, which we knew they weren't going to, and created I guess, air pockets below them. So it's not giving me the same emotional response that first tray gave me. Like here you can just see this, I don't know, throw a bottle of perfume on there, no one will ever know. But here you can see where black has even seeped in and under something. I don't know. I don't quite know what those were from. The colours, stunning. The ether and the garden together work phenomenally against that purple. But it doesn't give me the same wow. Now the foils, again, they are stickers. So I feel like the actual foilness, the shimmery, shiny reflectiveness is on the other side of the sticker. When you look at them with the naked eye, they look identical, both sides. Both sides look just as shimmery and shiny as the other. Equally, it could be that I've used a lighter colour for the background, so we're not getting the full impact from the foil stickers. Let me know your thoughts. I do not dislike this. I'm just not fully obsessed. I'm obsessed with the elements of it. That edge, that edge gives me, oh, yes, please. Some areas where the moon is, love it. Love, love, love it. But because I've got those uneven, bumpy surfaces, it's taken away for me. Again, gorgeous tray. I think if you were to gift this to somebody, they'd still think it was a beautiful tray. But as a creator, sometimes we can pick apart all of the little things that for other people just would not be it wouldn't be a deal breaker. But for me, all of these little elements that just didn't go the way I wanted them to, yeah, I see the tray not as amazingly as I saw the first tray. Equally, it's gorgeous. So yeah, I don't hate it. I'm just not obsessed. There you go. I'm not obsessed, you see? But let me know your thoughts. The colour shifting, everything about the colour shifting chameleon powders is a wow. An absolute wow. The edge is a wow. The inlay results are a wow. I think it all comes down to those foil stickers. I feel like I need to try this again in a deeper tray. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed and feel inspired. If not by this one, then the first video for sure. Thank you so much if you are still here. I appreciate you for spending this much time with me. We're nearly 17 minutes in. We are bang on 17 minutes in. And thank you if you've been with me in the live chat as well for giving up your time on a Monday evening. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.